Whoa. Sorry there, folks. I had a little something stuck in my throat here. Don't worry about me. Definitely was something in that cup that I just took a swig from. Hey, did you hear? Fan Levitard. Mission accomplished. That's what some of our fans are asking. Hey, Nasty Nate, are you going to quit it? I said I would go by Nasty Nate until the show name dropped us. Well, actually, they got to name drop Nasty Nate, so I don't know if I'm going to continue this. I think we're still Nasty Nate here, but this is God Bless Alai, and things are starting to develop here in the season 4 of Battle Court. Things did not go 100% as planned. We got beaten pretty bad by the Renegades. I mean, there was some really close matches that could have swung it, especially the first time on Friday. I was honestly surprised. I was watching it and thought we were doing really well, and then I had to go pick up my kids. And I was watching the car. I was like, okay, Carballo's got this in the bag. Right when I pick up my kids, he's like, won the first set handily. In the second set, up, I think he was up like pretty good. Turn it off, and then I come back like, oh, let's check in like how the guys are doing, and I see them show the game day score, and I'm like, what happened? And we only came away with 1.5. We did a little bit better, 2.5. But some of those matches were really close that could have gone either way. That would have made a big difference in the game day. So we still, I believe, got to play them 2 more times, something like that. But things are starting to come to shape. We have, if you look at the Battle Court standings, your Wall Warriors in last place with 6.5 points. Now they do have the most points remaining, tied with the Dejada Devils. But you see, they got 101 points remaining. Dejada Devils also have 101 points remaining, and they got 14 points. So Wall Warriors, woof. Rough start to the season for those guys. They're our next opponent, so hopefully we can get some nice points out of them when we play. But ladies and gentlemen, we've got a special treat for you today. It is the return of Mike Carballo. That's right. Back on God Bless Alai here once again. We're interviewing Mike Carballo. Let's go ahead and get to that interview. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very excited right now. Staring back at me is the one, the only Mike Carballo making his triumphant return to God Bless Alai. Welcome back, Mike. How are you doing?
Not Nathan, glad to be back here. What do you call this? God Bless Alai Part 2. Shout out to the Clone Cartel.
That's where I want to start right there. Clone Cartel. How did that start? How did that come about? Because when I saw that, I loved it immediately.
I can't even take credit for it. The first person that I heard say it was Mike.
Mike Fuentes?
Mike Fuentes, yeah.
Okay, so a little insider access there. I'd actually discovered that, and I was doing some of my own journalism there to follow up. So Mike Fuentes, wherever you are, that it's credible. He was telling me the truth that he was the first to come up with the term.
It checks out, man. It checks out.
Clone Cartel.
He dropped it at the draft. So
yeah,
and I think he's lead creative for he's in charge of all the creative material for Cyclone. So it makes sense.
Yep, head of social there, Mike Fuentes. I had to get on him a little bit because I thought he was a little slow to start pumping out the content about this season's Cesta Cyclones team, which I'm very excited about. You guys got off the first couple games to a hot start against the Dejada Devils and Chula Chargers. Lifestyle Miami Chargers. They're no longer the Chula Chargers. And then hit a little bit of a rough patch. Last 2 games didn't quite go as we would have liked, but I personally am very pleased with this start that the team has gotten off to. What's different about this team versus last year?
Yeah, this year we have some familiar faces. And how do you say it? Just we have more athletes on this year's roster. We have guys who could kind of play hybrid. And when I say hybrid, they could. We have some guys who could just play in the front court, play in the back court as well. So just having that flexibility and just
Mm-hmm.
knowing guys can go after it. Doesn't matter if the ball is up against the wall or up against the screen. We're athletic enough to get there.
Absolutely. Um, what's different about your approach this year? Because let me tell you, when I have watched a match that you've played in, especially when it's you and Manu, um, I just feel like there's something different, especially when you're throwing the ball, like it is loud bouncing off of the wall when you're hucking it. Like I cannot be looking at the screen. I'm like, that's a Carballo throw right there
Right.
based off just the sound. Has there been a difference to your approach this season?
Yeah, this one I got to give total kudos to Manu and Manny. They've been telling me for year after year to just kind of take your time out there because unfortunately I have one speed and everyone knows what that is and it's full speed. But essentially just telling me to stay with that aggressiveness, but just take an extra second or two to control the ball, take a look at where your opponent is, and throw it exactly where it needs to be put. So, I come from a baseball background, so if you were to compare it to pitching, you got to locate it, right? You don't want to leave anything over
Mm-hmm.
the plate. In highlight terms, you don't want to leave it over the heart of the court in the middle. You want to make them work for it. So, just taking my time, being deliberate, and even if it is a half second, like in my mind, I'm still going the same speed, but according to them, they could see that I'm listening to their advice this year.
Well, you can absolutely tell because again, when you're throwing it, I feel like there's some serious heat coming off of it. Have you like in the off season had like some increased reps that you've been getting in the gym? Because the pelota is flying super fast when it's coming out of your cesta.
Yeah, actually, this is actually the first year in all of my highlight career where I went back into the gym. So I'm doing what's it start off with? It probably starts off with like a 7 minute, anywhere between a 5 to 7 minute how do you say it, man? Stairmaster with 100 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So for the folks at home, 100 pounds, think about that. So just imagine, you know, I'm wearing ankle weights, weighted vest, 245-pound plates in my arms, and just continuously, just trying to build up that stamina. That's on the lower half side. Arm wise, just sticking to how do you say it? Just man, what do they call it, man? It's kind of can't think of it right now. The band work,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So some resistance work then
right?
with those. My wife is all about the resistance bands. I go through those things so fast because I'm tall that I break them.
Right.
That I just can't find one that over time I don't wear down because I don't know if you can tell, but when I do work out, I go hard.
There we go.
So
Yeah, and one more thing to add, in regards to the velocity of my throws, honestly, taking that split second to control the ball, when that ball's moving in your cesta, you lose velo there.
mhm.
So that second pause that Manny and Manu were telling me to do, that I could probably give them credit for that as well. So better mechanics, better posture, faster ball.
And highlights all about that velo, that extra speed, little bit to get your opponent off balance, makes a big difference.
Totally.
I'm wondering what does the grind look like for a season of highlight? Like what does a week look like for Mike Carballo with training, matches? Like, is there game tape that we're breaking down? I know you guys definitely talk strategy because I hear it when they go to the pit in like post game. So what's the daily grind of a battle court season look like?
Yeah, first of all, staying healthy, showing up early, making sure you're doing whatever you need to be doing to stay loose, get hot, and just stay limber. So that involves a stretching routine. For me, first thing I do when I get to the court is hop in the hot tub for about 5 or 7 minutes. Um, do some push-ups in there, do some arm circles to not just sit in there, but also get some other muscle groups firing while you're in the hot water. That's that. If you've seen some of the video, maybe like pre-match, you probably see me doing some jump ropes. I'm a big jump rope guy, so I'm doing that to get my fast twitch muscle fibers going. Yeah, what do I got? I got a body blade. I don't know if you've seen me do that. It's kind of
No,
like a javelin looking thing, and you kind of pump it.
Sounds
Um,
intense.
yeah, so that's from my athletic perspective. And also mentally, just being able to adjust and really think about what the opponent's trying to do to you. In years past, I kind of just go out there and rely on my athletic ability, but this year I'm trying to really, again, slow it down and think about what I have to do in order to be successful.
Absolutely. So currently the Cyclones were half a point out of third place, which is where you need to be to make the playoffs. But we could easily past third place, maybe even second place, because there's been a couple matches where we've gotten up 5-1, 5-0, and a comeback has happened. And this is, fourth season of Highlight that I've been watching, and I've noticed like these type of 5-0 comebacks, 5-1 comebacks are actually pretty common. The first time I went to see Highlight in person, I saw Manny come back from being down 5-0 against the Wall Warriors, our dreaded rivals. So I'm wondering, what is it about Highlight that can lead to so many comebacks?
Yeah, it's kind of like basketball where it could be a game of runs or a match of runs. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's all about breaking that momentum and building it. So I think my last singles match, I had a big lead in all 3 sets. I ended up winning the first one, and then in the second and third set, I ended up giving the game away. So, I mean, anytime you have a massive lead, there's no excuse to lose that match. It's really just bad game management. And honestly, even at that point, when I had the massive lead, I was aware of what I needed to do. I was like, hey, listen, like, let's manage the game, do my thing, boom, boom, boom. And, sometimes that's just the way the game, that's just, unfortunately, that's probably the worst part of the game. It happens sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and to answer your question about the standings, with these, I think we've dropped like 2 or 3 games where we should have took, and those are precious points. You probably, I mean, at the end of the season, it's definitely, if you think about the games that we should have won, it's going to come down to those games. Always does every year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's tough. You just got to limit those errors and man, do our best to make sure it doesn't happen.
I have faith. And as we've seen, when it comes to Highlight, you just got to make it to the playoffs, and anything can happen. Every single year, there's been a different champion. So although this year, secretly, I think whoever wins it is going to be a previous champion. I don't believe in Masvidal's ability to build a Highlight team. I think he's still got a few things to learn there before the Dehada Devils come together as a championship caliber squad. And the Wall Warriors, I think they've got to make a lot of growth if they're usually a perennial team that does well but has yet to climb the mountaintop, and that mountain's looking a little bit taller than normal this season for the Wall Warriors. Is what I'll say there. Um Speaking of the Wall Warriors, that's our next opponent. What's the single most important thing the Clone Cartel has to do to beat the Wall Warriors in their upcoming match?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is probably just playing the way we know we could play. We've kind of been beating ourselves, in our losses. So if we could just limit those unforced errors, and execute, I think we'll win the game day and start accumulating those points. We're not really a team to like look at the standings. We just, we play hard, and we're looking just to stack up W's.
Mm-hmm. I mean, what's it like for you? You've been on a doubles team with Manu every season, and this year, I don't know if you've seen this, someone on Twitter actually created ELO ratings for World Highlight, and you and Manu are the second ranked doubles team. And you guys, I believe you haven't lost a match. You've won every single one that you've played, and you guys look really good when you're out there. So I'm just wondering, all those years of experience, like what's that like now for you and Manu to hit the court together, having had so much experience playing together?
Yeah, it's so much fun. I think the one word that comes to mind is just being in sync with him. I know what he has to do. He knows what I could do. And when I get my opportunities to end the point up in the front, inside the 5 or 6 line, when I'm putting points away, it's typically a good day for the Cyclones. But it's so much fun. I mean, I text that guy every day, literally, so
Mm-hmm.
it just goes to show you how good of a friend he is, how much fun he is to
Yeah.
play with and off the court. And yeah, man, I mean, it's just a pleasure to play with that guy. He's a world class highlight player. Period. A lot of people don't know, but he's probably top 5 highlight player in the world. He can easily be playing in France right now, but just chooses to be here in the U.S.
Yeah. I mean, it's do you when you guys are playing, for me, that's must watch. Very, very exciting. And so far you guys have dominated. And if you continue to dominate, like I got a lot of faith in this year's team. So I've liked what I've seen out of the Clone Cartel. I think we're gonna continue to stack up those W's. What are your thoughts on the Taylor Swift and Travis Kelsey news, though? That's what I'm wondering.
That stuff is so funny, man. I can't believe how viral it's going. I think there was like a 400x increase in like his jersey sales from all the Swifties.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, listen, Kelsey's a stud, man. He's funny too. Actually, I tune into his brother's podcast, New Heights.
Mm-hmm.
And they're a trip, man. And he's a character. He's a stud. Good for him. He's I think he's the right man for the job. He's putting a team on his back, and he's how do you say it? He's just a good man for the job, I feel like.
So you think it's real? We're in the beginnings of what has potential to be a great love story.
I think the story is awesome. How like he sent a DM to her. It's like, oh, like let's see who can make Arrowhead rock harder. That was pretty creative, and I think he gave her like
Mm-hmm.
some like friendship bracelet. So I
Look,
think he's a
Mike,
cool guy. I've never met the guy, but I'm happy for him.
don't get me started on the friendship bracelets. That's a huge thing among the Swifties. So if you know, you go to a Taylor Swift concert, you come loaded with a bunch of friendship bracelets, and you pass them out to fans. My wife is a Swiftie, and she showed up with a bunch of friendship bracelets and passed one out to a celebrity, Catherine Hahn, and she has her friendship bracelet. So it's a big deal. So it's a heady play by Travis Kelsey on multiple levels. And it also shows that, for all the Swift fans out there that are wondering who's this football player that Taylor Swift is dating, like, oh, I think he's a part of the Swifty nation for him to know about the friendship bracelet move and put his phone number on it. Like, props to Travis on that. How do you think we can get Taylor to the fronton?
Oh, that one you're gonna have to talk to chief of marketing, Mike Fuentes. That's his
Mike,
department. I
get Mike
just I
Fuentes
just
on
catch
it.
I just catch things and I throw things really hard on the court. That's all I'm good for.
Who do you think in Clone Cartel knows the most Taylor Swift songs?
Including management.
Including management.
I think the savvy pick is probably Mike Ryan because he's a DJ, loves music. Anytime I'm
Ooh.
with the guy, we always talk about, I mean, records, new bands that we've each heard of and we recommend it to each other. But now player wise, man, who would listen to Taylor Swift? Trying to think. I think
Mm.
Ikeda.
Ikeda, he knows he'd be the most likely to start bust out with "I knew you were trouble
I
when you
think
walked."
so, man. I think he's a sleeper on many other you know,
Mm-hmm.
picks in that regard, but I think he'd be the guy jamming out to Taylor Swift the most. Definitely wouldn't be me.
Yeah, and hopefully right now this little rough patch we're out of the woods on that section of the Cesta Cyclone season. My bet for if I'm going to include management is I throw in Chris Cody. He actually has showcased some Taylor Swift knowledge. Mike, good choice. He probably definitely knows the most music, but from what I've gleaned, Mike might I don't think he's as big a fan of Taylor as everyone else is, but I'm not going to throw him to the wolves of the Taylor Swift nation. My bet would go for Chris Cody knowing the most. And
Maybe.
I was thinking Ikeda as well for knowing the most Taylor Swift songs.
It'd be funny if it was like Manny or something.
Manny. Oh, Manny. I actually have a Manny Cesta Cyclones jersey. Which I'm not wearing today because I wear that almost every time I do this. It's like I gotta mix it up. I can't just always be in my Cesta Cyclones gear. So before I let you go, I have a quick game to play. This game is called Bold or Spicy. I'm going to give you some takes about this season, and you got to tell me, is that a bold take or is it a spicy take? How spicy is it? So
Okay.
here's my first take. Manu and Carballo will be the top ranked doubles team by the end of the season. Bold or spicy?
Spicy. We're gonna make it
How
happen.
okay, spice. So spicy. We're a fan of that one.
Yeah.
Battle Court will have a new champion this season.
New champion?
Yeah, new
Okay, yeah.
champion.
Yeah, there's
A
only been three
never
teams. Right. Bold.
bold.
It's gonna be a
But
repeat. It's gonna be a
repeat.
repeat of one yeah.
We're thinking repeat. I would say, yeah, it's a bold statement, not too spicy. Um Statement here. Bold or spicy. Manny is currently the best pro athlete who's 40 plus.
Spicy.
What's our level there?
Level of spicy.
Yeah.
Oh man, he's probably 10. He listen, it's not easy to be playing this sport into your late 35s. He's already 40, you know. So, and I'm actually one of the guys who helps him out physically because after games and a couple days later, like he has some aches and pains, and I'm out there stretching him out, rolling him, making sure that he's ready to go, man. Because I mean, the amount of knowledge that he gives me so many pearls to the game that and without him, I'd take care of my guy.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, he's the best 40 plus pro athlete out there doing it hands down. I don't think it's even close since Brady retired. Um, Speaking of Brady, moving on from bold and spicy, the final question here. Last time we talked, you had insight on Tom Brady, and I don't know if you saw this recently. The tiny jersey he was wearing at the New England Patriots wore this tiny little kid's jersey instead of, you know, this big comfortable jersey. Did you catch that at all?
I didn't catch it, man. Sorry, I missed
Oh,
it.
see, I was gonna see if you had any insight into who's giving this guy jerseys because they got to step it up because it was embarrassing.
Yeah. No, as far as Tom Brady, I haven't finished it yet, but I'm in the middle of his podcast with Patrick Bet David,
Mm-hmm.
where he's just like going in it, man. Just talking about his whole career, his mindset, and how he did what he did and what it took. And man, it's freaking unbelievable. No wonder the guy's a GOAT.
Definitely unmatched in his level of preparation. I think I'm still getting to the rest of his, what was it, 10 or 11 part ESPN. I think I left off at like episode 6, and I still have like 5 more to go to knock that off. Well, thanks for joining us, Carballo. I'm looking forward to this year. Do you have anything that you want to leave the Clone Cartel with?
Now, listen, we're the Clone Cartel. We're going to continue making noise. We're going to play hard. And listen, it's still early, just because we drop a couple games and should have accumulated some points here and there. It's a long season. A lot of things can happen. And we're gonna crush it.
Go Clones.
Go Clones, baby. Clone Cartel.
And God bless Alai.
You got it. Thanks, Nathan. Happy to be here.
Thanks, Mike.